senior year, for we had this like senior project, and like
Mhm.
I had buddies that like built benches or like built a surfboard or whatever. I had like 4 or 5 songs written, and I was like, maybe I'll just get these recorded like professionally. And um, I texted like the one guy I knew that knew how to do this, like out in the middle of nowhere, Texas. His name is David Whitbeck. He's awesome. And we recorded 5 songs together, and it was a blast. And it was kind of just for my senior project. Um, and then like my first 3 or 4 songs that I released on Spotify were from the senior project.
Oh,
Uh,
wow.
yeah, and like the first song I released, "Springtime Red Tulips," like that was on my senior project, and it was I like only did that for my senior project, but I
And that
released it.
blew up, and then it obviously that's what even led to the deal with Capitol, didn't it? That
Yeah,
song?
that was like the one.
Gee.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Bringing it backward.
What's up?
Hey, Bo, how are you, man?
I'm great. How are you guys?
I'm fantastic. I appreciate you doing this. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me. This will be fun.
Awesome, dude. Well, I'm Adam, by the way, and this is about you and your journey in music. And obviously, we'll talk about the EP that you just put out. And I know you're touring with Ash, and you just did some gigs with Houndmouth, so you got a lot going on, man. It's awesome.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Sweet. So I always kind of start off with like your origin story a bit. From what I read, you're from where, Austin area, Texas?
Yes, Austin, Texas. Yeah.
Talk to me about that. What was it like growing up in Austin?
Um, I just feel so lucky to be from Austin. I think it's one of the best cities in the country, and obviously it's a big music city.
Music City, yeah.
um, so yeah, I just feel lucky being able to. There's this big festival there called ACL,
Mhm.
and me and my buddies would go every year, and just being surrounded by music, and like really that type of music. And um, yeah, I just feel lucky.
And then you moved to Nashville, right? Are you in Nashville?
Yes, I'm in Nashville right now. I moved I moved August of 2023. I moved to go to school here at Belmont.
Oh, you
Uh,
did? Okay. I live in Nashville too. So I moved here in 21 from San Diego, but
oh, sweet.
yeah, I know Belmont very well. That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah. I went there for like a semester and a half. Uh,
And then you got the gig that everybody was going there to get anyway,
yeah, yeah.
right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
That's
it's like some of those music schools and like art schools, like sometimes this is how I've justified it. Sometimes
okay.
um dropping out is like graduating. Like it's what kind of the goal is.
No,
Uh,
100%. Like I've
yeah.
had people on that went to Belmont and to Berkeley, and
Mhm.
it's like once you get the gig or you get the deal, it's like, well, that's what we're all here trying to get
Exactly.
anyway. So
Yeah,
if you don't have to continue to pay out the college loans, like who cares?
exactly. Yeah.
Uh, Right on. It's I
Yeah.
did see that you also come from a pretty big. You come from a big family. I know family's huge to you, but I don't know if you have a big
Yeah.
family.
I have one older brother.
Okay.
So it's the 4 of us, and then we were very, very, very close with our cousins on both sides. So they feel more like siblings than cousins.
And you
But
all grew up together in Austin.
my mom's side is all they're all in Austin, and then my dad's side is Minnesota.
Okay.
So we'd spend summers there, and yeah, it's the best. Again, I feel very lucky to just have that huge community of love.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Did you grow up like from what I was reading about you, you didn't start really writing songs or playing guitar until later in life, right? In high school?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
prior to that, were you just a fan? I mean, it sounds like you went to Austin City Limits and stuff, but like was there music playing in your house a lot? Were you surrounded by it? Does anyone else in your family play?
Yeah, music was always playing. music was kind of a big part of just like our family, but
Hmm.
no one. I mean, I played the drums when I was little, um, and I suck at the drums now. My brother took like a year of guitar lessons, but like, yeah, other than that, we're not very musically inclined. Um, and then, yeah, my junior year of high school, I started. Um, we had this like program called Rock Band,
Hmm.
and me and my buddies joined the program, and like that kind of really sparked my love of like making music and writing and like being with people and collaborating with music. Um, that's how it all kind of sparked. But
So joining Rock Band, did you know? Did they teach you how to play guitar? That like, had you ever played guitar before, or
I
you went
had
in just
played,
okay?
yeah, I learned. I took maybe like 2 lessons with a teacher,
Mhm.
and then I kind of just like on my own, I would look up on YouTube or like just kind of taught myself. Um, and so yeah, I knew how to play guitar, and I never really had sung in front of anybody, so it was kind of just like I kind of threw myself in there, and um, it was blast. Obviously, it
Yeah,
kind of sparked something.
sure. In that program, were you just doing cover songs, or were they having you all write your own music and everything?
It was it was all cover songs. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And then when do you get the idea or courage or urge or whatever to start writing your own music?
Um, I kind of would like ever since like 8th grade, I would like write,
Hmm.
and they weren't like real good or like real songs. I would kind of just write. Um, but I would say like kind of around the same time, like junior year, I was like really I started taking it seriously and like, oh, I'm gonna write this song and like actually put a lot of energy into it and start
Hmm.
writing. Um, and then yeah, senior year, for we had this like senior project, and like
Hmm.
I had buddies that like built benches or like built a surfboard or whatever. I had like 4 or 5 songs written, and I was like, maybe I'll just get these recorded like professionally. And um, I texted like the one guy I knew that knew how to do this, like out in the middle of nowhere, Texas. His name is David Whitbeck. He's awesome. And we recorded 5 songs together, and it was a blast. And it was kind of just for my senior project. Um, and then like my first 3 or 4 songs that I released on Spotify were from the senior project.
Oh
Uh,
wow.
yeah. And like the first song I released, Springtime Red Tulips, like that was on my senior project, and I like only did that for my senior project, but I
And that
released it.
blew up, and then it obviously that's what even led to the deal with Capitol, didn't it? That
Yeah,
song?
that was like the one.
Gee,
Yeah, it's crazy.
wow, that one senior project. Did you know, like, it's interesting because you went to Belmont, and that's not an easy school to get into, especially for people that are like striving to be musicians or
Mhm.
like to start like junior year and be so talented at this. Like, was this something that you like in sophomore year? Did you think that you wanted to be a musician, or were you
Not
going to
at
go to
all.
Belmont or anything like that?
Not
It
at all.
happened
I
very quickly.
Yeah, I didn't even know any of this was possible. I didn't know this was like a career path. Um, and then yeah, I heard of Belmont, and I heard about like the music business side of things.
Mhm.
Um, and I was really intrigued with that. And I like my plan was just to come to Nashville and do 4 years of school and then figure it out. But
Sure.
obviously it
There's
that
other
was
plans for you.
yeah, exactly.
So okay, so you put out Springtime Red Tulips, and does it do well right away? Like, tell me about how you start getting like a fan base.
Yeah, it was like like the first 2 weeks I probably had like 2,000 streams, and I was like, "Holy shit, this is awesome."
Yeah, right?
I was freaking out. I was like, there's like I thought that was like the best it will ever do, and I was pumped about it. Um, and then one day, my manager just called me and he's like, "Dude, are you doing something right now? Like, what's going on with the song?" And I was like, "What do you mean?" And he was like, "It has like 20,000, 40,000 streams." And I like broke down crying. I like
Oh
called
my
my
gosh.
mom. I was like, "What the heck is happening?" And yeah, Spotify just kind of like naturally picked it up and put it on one of their playlists. And yeah, they kind of brought me in with open arms. And it all happened like extremely naturally. Like we didn't do anything on our end. Somehow they just picked it up and found it. And um, yeah.
And that changed everything for you, right?
Yeah, 100%. Yep.
So then are you at that point, the song is blowing up, are people then is that when you people like record labels and people are starting to reach out to you like, "Hey, like what's going on?" And
Yeah, I think that's where it all started, and then me and my manager really took things as slow as possible, and like um we kind of held off with the label stuff for like a year,
mhm,
and kind of just said like, look, we're gonna figure out what is going on and what we are and what music we want to be, and so yeah, we took like a year of kind of just thinking about it. And then like the next summer, like summer of 24 is when we kind of resumed the conversations. Um,
okay.
but yeah, that's when it all kind of started with the labels and everybody reaching out.
It's wild to think that like, you know what I mean, you had 5 songs, right? And then you're like, "I'm gonna put this on a senior project," and then one of them's the first one does like awesome. Were you
Yeah.
continuing to write like even after you had done the senior project? Like, did you had more songs that you're starting to stack up?
Yeah. a
Okay.
hundred percent. Yeah. Um, and like again, I had like I think I released three of the five. Um,
Okay.
and then yeah, I had written one and released that one in December, and then just continued to write. And then, you know, I got out of school um that next like spring. So I was just like writing and doing all the sessions and all of that.
What like yeah, what led to you to just did you have the deal? Is that what led you to leave the school? Or were you just
No,
like, "Oh,
I just was like I don't know. I was kind of just I mean, I was a songwriting major, and
uh-huh."
I had like a 60 something in songwriting. Like I was not doing well at all.
You
Um,
just turn in your Spotify spin report, you're like,
I
"Here you go."
I yeah, I remember I for one of our like assignments, I turned in one of the songs. It's called Your Eyes Tell Stories. And like before I had released it, and like it didn't like I got like a C on it.
What?
Yeah, so it was just funny, but I I don't know. I kind of just felt like, all this good goodness is happening around this music career, and like I felt like putting more energy into something that I'm not loving, or that I feel like isn't really giving me anything, was
Sure.
dumb. And like it just wasn't feeling good to me. So, and I was always like a student first. Like I was always academics first. My parents would like I would like have to do all my homework before I got to go out with some friends. Like it was always that. So it was a
Mhm.
big change for all of us. And very thankful that they're so supportive. And um yeah,
Yeah, was
but
that a difficult conversation to have with them to say, "Hey, I'm gonna."
it was weird. Like none of us expected it to happen.
Mhm.
Um but yeah, not once were they like hesitant in support, or like they they were always whatever feels best to you, let's do it. And yeah, they were always super supportive.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
It's funny that you said, "Your eyes tell stories." They got us like a C, and then, it does, like, over 1.5 million
Crazy.
streams.
Yeah,
I wonder what the A song has on
I know.
Spotify.
Seriously, seriously. Yeah, it's crazy. Um, yeah,
Uh,
I don't know.
were you playing like once your song gets picked up by the first one with Springtime Red Tulips gets picked up by Spotify and it's getting a lot of streams, were you trying to like capitalize on that momentum? Like, were you like, okay, I should start playing some shows? Like, were you playing out in Nashville a lot, or like, what was like kind of the game plan when you start seeing like a little viral moment?
Yeah, it was, and it's interesting because like I've never really had like a viral moment on social media or like TikTok. Like I
Hmm.
still haven't. Um, and so what we were really trying to do was just capitalize on this attention we are getting from Spotify. So we kind of just like kept releasing songs monthly.
Hmm.
And then yeah, like in Nashville, we would do some like showcases for BMI or
Hmm.
all of those things. But yeah, it didn't the live stuff didn't really take off until one of my friends now, which is crazy. His name is John Vincent. He's like one of my favorite artists ever. And he and I had a session kind of like relatively early in my career. And then like a few months later, he invited me to come play some shows with him in Colorado. And that was like kind of the start of like the live stuff. Then I opened for Hans Williams, and then
Hmm.
there was some festival things, um, and then Wyatt Flores, and then Richie Mitch and the Coal Miners, and then now this year there's a tons. So
Yeah. I mean,
um,
you're on so many big things. You're on Lollapalooza. Like, you're on so many huge things
yeah,
this
it's
year.
crazy. It's crazy. Um, but yeah, and thinking about that, think about it that way is kind of just like sometimes you forget about like the progress you've made. um, so thinking about it like that is pretty cool, and just kind of objectively thinking about where you came from and where you are now. It's cool.
Yeah, a senior project to like your name's on the
Yeah,
Lollapalooza poster, which is like one of the most iconic things ever. Like, that's so
nuts.
crazy. With those first shows that you did, were you nervous at all? Like, because it doesn't sound like, I mean, you weren't some kid that was going and doing open mic nights and all these
Right.
things, your whole life. Like, were you worried or nervous at all going on stage? Like, was that a hard thing to do?
Yeah, I still am. I'm a very, very, very anxious person, and I've like struggled with anxiety for all my life. Um, and like before the shows, I'm like dead. Like I'm like I can't talk. I'm like on the floor. Um, and then as soon as I get on stage, it's just kind of it all kind of is relieved. I don't know what it is, but um, those first shows, especially, they were solo acoustic shows.
Wow.
Um,
You're
and
just
so
really out there it's just you, right?
exactly, yeah, you don't have like your band to fall back on or anything. So those shows, especially, I was kind of like, dang, this is scary. But yeah, the people I opened for, they're all amazing and
Yeah,
um, treated me very well. So it
that's
was great.
great. And then you end up signing the deal with Capitol Records. What was that? That must have been such a big moment for you.
Yeah, it was amazing. And it took a lot of thinking, and it's a huge decision. We didn't know if we wanted to sign a label deal. We didn't know who we wanted to sign with. Um, it was just like a month of just like pensiveness and like thinking of something that I've never thought was even possible.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, that was a lot, but that we signed kind of end of summer 2024. Um, and since then it's been awesome. The team's great, and
Yeah. I
I'm
mean,
just
you're on the
pumped.
same label as the Beatles. I mean, that's
Yeah, it's
crazy.
great. Yeah, I know. I haven't. So they're redoing their whole building in LA right now, like the famous
Oh,
Capitol building.
yeah, it's such a rad building.
So I haven't gotten to step foot in it yet, but but when I do, it's gonna be a crazy day to see those studios where, you know, the Beach Boys and the Beatles and everybody.
Yeah, they have such like I've had friends that have been able to tour it and stuff, and they just said like some of the equipment in there, and it's just like yeah, unbelievable. So
Yeah,
that's so
I know.
cool.
Yeah.
Um, and then so you went to but you went to LA to record this EP, right? In Laurel, you recorded in Laurel Canyon.
Yes, I recorded. I kind of had two producers working on that worked
Okay,
on the EP. One was Andrew Wells, who's kind of Laurel Canyon area, um, and then the other one is Josh Block. And yeah, both of them are in LA, and it was just yeah, I'm lucky to be able to be in those rooms and to have such amazing, talented people working with me. It's pretty cool.
yeah. What was that like? Did you have most of the songs done for the Garden before you went
Um,
recorded, or like how do you?
no, I
Okay,
the first song that I did on the EP was "The Garden," and I had I think it was that summer. Yeah, it was that summer. We were in Minnesota. I was surrounded by family and whatever. And I was like, one morning, I just got on the piano and like wrote that first little intro basically. And I was like, this is sick. And so, yeah, one of the sessions I had with Andrew, I just kind of brought that to him, and we fleshed out the rest of the song. I wrote the rest of the song in his studio or like on his balcony at his house. And yeah, that's kind of how most of the songs went. Um, they just kind of came in as like small ideas, and I built them out with Andrew and Josh. And yeah, they turned out kind of exactly how would want them to. So they're just geniuses, and I'm lucky to be with them.
man, you're that the EP is incredible. Was it?
Thank you.
What's it like working with two producers like that? Like, do you have um like obviously it sounds like you wrote a lot of this, like you had an idea or a bit and then you guys fleshed it out together and
Hmm.
created the song. Was it like having two totally different perspectives, like with two different people, or like how, like was it hard to, I don't know, a lot of people will just go with, okay, I'm gonna go with this one guy and he's gonna do the whole thing, but like to split
Yeah,
it up
totally.
and but it doesn't sound like it's split up or anything like that, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, they did a really good job of keeping it cohesive. I think, I mean, yeah. So five of the songs are with Andrew, then one of the songs is with Josh.
Oh,
Um,
okay,
so, so obviously, like
a majority of it
the
were
majority of them feel very similar and have the same vibe. But Josh, he also did a great job of just like, I mean, it's honestly the one with Josh is kind of like the outlier, but it was supposed to be the outlier. It's
hmm
the one called "Oh God, Were You
oh
Ever?"
god, yeah.
And I came in with this idea, and then I remember saying like 40 times that day, like I just want this song to be like weird. Like I kept saying weird. And I think they just did a great job of like seeing my vision. And this guy named Charlie Damsky was there, and he helped write it with me. Um, and yeah, they just did an amazing job capturing what I wanted to capture, and the emotions and the words and everything. It was an awesome experience.
Yeah, it's such like I said, it's such a great record. That's interesting that because when you listen to it, I only knew because I read that that was the one that was done by Josh. But if
Hmm.
you listen to it, it doesn't sound like it. Like you said, it's the whole album or the whole EP is so cohesive. It's not
Yeah,
like you're like, okay, this is definitely a way different production, or this sounds
yeah,
totally different. It's definitely a different vibe, but it works and it doesn't sound like
totally.
it's out of
Yeah,
place or something. You know what I mean?
thank you.
Yeah.
That was our goal.
You nailed it. um, well, that dude, and are you? I'm sure you've got other stuff you've been working on too. Like, how does
Yeah,
that look? Like, are you
yeah.
writing a lot or?
Writing a ton. I've done like 3 or 4 trips to LA and back this year already. Um, and been doing a lot of writing and recording here too in Nashville. So plenty of music, and we're just kind of trying to figure out where we want to go with it, and it's exciting. It's like it's a cool exploratory phase right now, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. I love the live video you put out from like those Laurel Canyon the session videos of the songs.
Yeah, those were such a blast to make.
Did you shoot those at Andrew's studio or where were those
No,
done?
that was
Oh.
a different house.
Oh, okay.
But it was a blast. It was like we just wrapped up our first tour with it was like a combined tour with White Floors and Richie mentioned the coal miners.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like we had our last show at the Troubadour in LA, and then the day after that we went to this house and like kind of recorded all day and did a bunch of live takes for these songs, and it was kind of like the capstone to the tour. It was awesome.
I love it. How was the Troubadour show? I love that venue.
It was so special. I had like all my family come in for it, and I had some friends there, and it was so special. And for that to be like the last one of the run was just like it just felt like awesome. It felt
Yeah, I bet.
it was great.
And then you have shows coming up next month with Ash. I've had
Yeah.
Ash on here before. She's great, and a lot of those are pretty much sold out already.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and
another big show, more
they're
big.
big rooms, and she's just a star, and it's I'm so blessed to be able to share stage with her, and yeah, she's amazing. Yeah, and then what day is it? The 1st?
Yeah.
We leave the 4th to go to Europe for a few shows.
Oh wow.
So that'll be super fun.
Are you doing just your own shows, or are you opening for someone?
We're doing
supporting?
we're doing a few headline shows, and then we're supporting Mark Amber
Oh, cool.
on his tour out there.
Have you played Europe before, or will this be your first?
Yeah, me and my guitarist went out there last summer with Wyatt Flores, and it was kind of more. It was just him and I. So this time we'll have the full band, which will be just a blast. I'm so pumped.
That's awesome. Well, I appreciate your time, Bo. Thanks so much for doing this, man.
Of course, thank you for having me. It's great talking to you.
Yeah, I do have one more question. I want to know if you have any advice for aspiring artists.
I think this is always weird because I feel like I'm in no place to give advice. But one thing that I've learned is that when something feels good to you, like in your body and your gut, if it feels good, there's probably a reason it feels good. And you should chase that, and you should acknowledge that, and you should act on that. And then when something feels bad or you're hesitant, there's a reason it feels that way, and you should listen to that. And so like with writing songs or making songs, like if it feels good, you should keep doing that. And because, people can see through like your what feels genuine to you. So yeah, if it feels good to you, you should just capitalize on that and keep going with that.
Bringing it backward.